Good morning. Today we're looking at Genesis chapter 21, verses 1 through 7. In verses 1 and 2, we read that the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and she conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time which God had spoken. I want to point out that this detail is important. God did exactly what he promised, exactly when he said he would. Years of waiting, doubt, and testing did not cancel God's word. This reminds us that God's promises are not only true, they're timely. He works according to his perfect timing, not ours. In verse 3, Abraham names the child Isaac just as God had instructed. The name of Isaac means laughter. What once reflected uncertainty and disbelief now becomes a joy and fulfillment. God had turned doubt into testimony. In verses 4 and 5, Abraham obeys God by circumcising Isaac on the 8th day, showing his continued faithfulness after the promise is fulfilled. Abraham is 100 years old at Isaac's birth, emphasizing that this child is not the result of human strength, but of God's power. The promise is clearly divine in origin. In verses 6 and 7, Sarah speaks with joy, saying that God had made her laugh, and that all who hear will laugh with her. The sorrow of barrenness has been replaced with joy through God's faithfulness. What once seemed impossible has become reality because nothing is too hard for the Lord. This passage points us to Christ. Isaac, the promised son, born by God's power, foreshadows Jesus Christ, the greater promised son, given according to God's plan and timing. And just as Isaac's birth brought joy after long waiting, Christ brings long, lasting joy through the fulfillment of God's redemption promise. As you go throughout today, reflect on areas where you are waiting on God. Remember that his promises are fulfilled in his timing, not ours. Choose to trust him with patience. And when you see his faithfulness, respond with obedience and gratitude and thanksgiving, recognizing that what God promises, he will surely accomplish. Have a blessed day.